Okay, hello everybody. My name is Anya Winnica. I am leading business development and partnerships here at Rock Paper Coin. I'm really excited that I get to be doing my first webinar with Rock Paper Coin with the fabulous Terrica. And yay. Okay, and I'm going to do a big long intro of Terrica. Probably everybody knows you, but I'll do it anyway. Before we do that, if you guys are following us on social media, you need to get on it. Obviously, the Insta is the best place to find us. So make sure that you're following us at Rock Paper Coin, and we can also drop it in the chat just as a little, reference point. And then I do want to make sure before we even kick this off that you follow Terrica too, because everything that we're talking about today, it all gets out there on the socials. So you've got to be able to make sure you're following her too. And yeah, Katie is going to drop her handle right there in the chat. And okay, let's do this. Let's do this formal welcome. So okay. I love this part. So 17 years in the wedding industry, award-winning wedding planner, 18.
Oh my gosh.
Award-winning wedding planner and designer. Terrica has been creating events, exquisite weddings and events. I think pretty much all over the country, right? Although you are based in Georgia.
Yes.
And so you are the chief wedding planner, designer, founder, all of the things, head honcho of Cocktails and Details. And then you are. And then you've got a team of talented planners and event managers underneath you that are also creating those events for you. Yeah. And then you launched the White Lounge, a virtual wedding planning concierge service that brings destination couples and professionals together. And I think the reason that everybody knows who you are beyond all those things is because you have this immense passion and love for our industry, and you are out there with it on your sleeve. And you speak all over the country, and you're a true thought leader. I'm not even going to name everything. You see Terrica at all of the majors, right? Like Wedding MBA, Cater Source, Wedding Pro, NACE. You were just in Arizona at WIPA. And so, it's pretty cool to have you here talking about something that is really close to the mission of Rock Paper Coin, which is money.
That's right.
Let's do this. And thank you again for being here, because I know you have a busy schedule.
No, thank you for having me. And, this is it's a passionate topic for me too, because I feel like we don't pay ourselves enough. We don't handle our money as well as we can. So I'm super excited to talk about this.
Let's do it. And while we're talking, anybody who's tuning in, say where you're from. Hi, Killian. I'm Anya. I'm in Brooklyn.
I'm in Georgia. I'm in the armpit of Georgia. Just came out of Phoenix, Arizona, which truly made me realize I need to get my life together, because I am not prepared for hell. It was extremely hot in Phoenix. So
I grew up there.
Oh my gosh.
I did.
I walked out of the airport and it was like 96 degrees at 10 o'clock at night. And I was so confused. I felt so disrespected and vulnerable and hurt. I was just so upset. So now I came back over here and it's hot, but we've got some humidity. So it's back to feeling like you're in someone's mouth again.
Yes. Either way, you feel assaulted by the heat. I get it.
Yes. Literally personally victimized by the heat. Yes.
Amazing. Okay. Well, so Killian's in Bozeman, Montana, Sarah from Platinum Weddings in Virginia. Yeah. So anybody tuning in, drop your name. We want to chat. And feel free to, if anything pops up in your head, add it to the comments, because we're going to take questions at the end. Okay. So we're discussing ways to generate more income and impact everyone's bottom line. So Terrica, let's just kick this off. When it comes to making more revenue, we often hear pros talking about either they're going to raise their prices or they're just going to do more weddings or more events. But it seems to you, especially, that tunnel vision can lead to a lot of money left on the table. And you say it's really important to develop multiple income streams. Mm-hmm. And so, the question, I guess, is why? Why is that so important? Why not just raise prices and focus on more? And what is it about this multiple revenue streams that's so important, you think?
Well, I feel like they say if you really want to make great money, you need at least 10 revenue streams, right? I am not there
Wow.
yet. I'm at like five and a half, but it's very true. Even at whatever you do within the wedding industry, you can still achieve that. I think that, like you said, we get tunnel vision and we're like, no, I have to do this one thing. And like you said, I'm going to do more. If you want to make more money, do less. Because a lot of the times when we send out our service magazines or we send out quotes to people, they look at it and they see a long list of bullet points. And that is how, one, you get micromanaged, and two, you also get your invoices and your line items cut down because someone's like, don't need that, don't need that, don't need that. And they completely butcher what it is that becomes your signature service or how you produce on brand events. So I always say, if you want to make more, do less. Go through your services. And again, like I said, I always say this because we're amongst family, we'll call them packages because we're all together.
Yeah.
But out there in the real world, we're going to call them collections to our clients.
I like it.
But go through your collections, your packages, and just take out the stuff that's fluff. Take out the extra calories. Create something that is the most minimum viable offer that you need to make the most maximum profit. And what I want you to do is
Wait, can you repeat that? That's so good.
Yeah. I want you to create the minimum viable offer to create the maximum profit. So it's like, oh, we'll walk your dog. Baby, ain't nobody asking you to do that. Not one person asked you to do that. Take it out. Anything that you take out, add it on later, either at the quote level right before you send your invoice and your contract, or even at a 2-month level prior to the event as an upsell.
Yeah.
You will find that you will make so much more money by doing the most minimum thing and still making your money, and then making more with an upsell. Because at this point, you've trained your client to be excited about whatever it is that you are going to sell to them. They want it, they need it. You've sold the features and the benefits. Your services are speaking directly to their pain points. So they're like, yes, I need this. This is what I need. Capitalize on that. Netflix does this to you. After you have binged watched an entire series, it does not take you to the main menu. It takes you to 3 similar shows that it wants you to watch. So think about this in that same frame of mind. Offer your service and then offer them 3 things that they can add on. Get them while they're excited. Get them while they're in the mood, because that's how you'll be able to add on. Supposedly, like I said, you can also do this on the 2-month level. For me, 2 months is my sweet spot. You may have to go through your own work and see with your own clients, like, okay, when do my clients lose their minds the most? For me, they lose their minds at the 2-month mark. So that's when 2 months prior to the wedding. I slide on in there and I'm like, hey, Anya, I hope you're doing great. I know things are probably crazy right now. Just wanted to check in and see how your planning is going, and to let you know if you need any other assistance with A, B, C, or D, just hit reply so that we can take it off of your plate.
Amazing.
That 2-month mark for us, they're so willing to give us everything, because everyone is calling with questions about, where do I stay? Oh, when do I get my RSVP? And they're just inundated with so many things. That's how little things slip through the cracks. So if you've built up this rapport and this really strong relationship with your client, you can upsell them again. So just circling back to what you said.
Yeah.
Take stuff out. I'm not saying you don't ever have to sell it, but you don't have to sell it at the very beginning, because you're giving them too much. Take stuff out, whatever it is that you need, the minimum offer to make the maximum profit, and then all the other little things, sell it as upsells. I think that's the most important thing. And people are like, oh my God, I can't upsell. Why? You are being upsold all of the time. Your clients are being upsold all the time. Anya, you ever went to the grocery store starving? You ever made that mistake?
Yeah,
absolutely. I make that mistake all of the time.
Yeah, the grocery budget goes way up.
Yeah, way up. And then the cart's full, right?
Uh-huh.
You have everything you need to make breakfast, lunch, dinner, you've got snacks. And then when you pull up to the cashier, you're being upsold. What's there? Gum, snacks, phone chargers, magazines. You are being upsold again. So, and if you break those down, the phone charger is for function, right?
Yeah.
It's for convenience. The gum is also for convenience. The magazines are for entertainment. The snacks, they're for quick convenience too. So break down those things that we took out of your larger packages and say, okay, well, what's for function? What's for convenience? What's for entertainment? What's going to make a great upsell? And then because you've exhausted yourself at the grocery store, you have no energy to cook anything that you've just purchased. You hop in the car, you go through the drive-through. They ask you if you want fries with that. They ask you if you want to supersize it. You are being upsold all of the time. You're the only one that's not doing it. Everybody else is doing it. So get on the bandwagon and start doing that.
It's really good advice. And then the other thing, okay, so going back to the beginning, you were like 10 revenue streams. I was like, wait, what? But now that you mention it, it's like, if I'm cutting all that stuff out, like I probably now have 3 new ideas.
Absolutely.
3 revenue streams, right?
Bingo. And I think that's the problem, is that we try to do everything all at once. We try to be that movie, everywhere, everything, everywhere, all at once.
Yes.
Like, no, sweetheart, that was a movie. We can watch it on Amazon Prime. It's not your life story. It's not your brand ministry. Break it up, because when you can break it up, you get, well, I know we'll get to this too. You get people to fall in love with you. Yeah. And you can talk to different markets. And that's what's so important too, in bringing in different revenue streams.
Yeah. And also you mentioned and touched on it, but like underlining the fact that if you're offering all those things up front and you're not separating it and helping people understand the value behind the one thing, they're likely to walk all over you because you just let them know.
Yes,
right. It's like you're kind of teaching them.
They absolutely are. And again, at the end of the day, you are making the amount of money you're willing to make. So if you're willing to cut it down, that's what you're willing to do. And they always say, it's not about the value of the hour, but the value that you bring to the hour. If it ever comes down to you and another colleague and it comes down to price, you haven't sold your value enough. Price is only an issue in the absence of value. The way that you can sell your value is, again, to really learn the features and the benefits of your services and understand the pain points. Like, what is the end result of this? Why is this important? And I always say, if you really want to do a good check on yourself and your services, sit there and say, well, why am I doing this? Why is this important to them? If you think about it in terms of a headache, Anya, if you have a headache, are you running to get Tylenol or are you running to get a massage? Yeah. Most people are going to run from pain faster than they run to pleasure. So if you can take the pain away, there is no question that your value is present. So definitely think about it that way when you start learning how to cut stuff out.
Yeah, that's super. Yep. Okay. So you have this phrase that you call, or feature that you call tiered brands to make more by charging less. Like, so walk us through what you mean when you say charge less to make more. Is that what we're just talking about? Like, is that the same thing of like just
baby, that's a whole other different revenue stream. That's something
walk us through it.
Something else. Yeah, we're on something else.
Good. I can't wait.
When I say a tiered brand, I have so many people who will say, well, I really want, or you could say I want to do less, but I want to charge this. Sometimes that's not always the case because you're talking to a different audience. Yeah. And it's the same, it's with music, it's with movies, it's with food, it's with cars. I'll give you an example. Toyota also owns Lexus. Hyundai also owns Genesis. Yes. Ford used to own Jaguar and Range Rover. So there were tiered brands where you could get something that was economical, something that worked for you, or you could get luxury. But if you knew that the same company was behind it, you knew that you were taken care of in either way. Yep. Nordstrom Rack, Saks Fifth Avenue, Saks off Fifth. Nordstrom Rack and Saks off Fifth are the budget brands. They're the tiered brands of these higher luxury brands, but they're all connected. They're all living under the umbrella of this brand that we feel comfortable with, that we feel safe with, that we know we're going to have quality with. We're going to have a great customer and client experience and customer service with. This applies to you as well. So maybe you just do, I'm going to give planning as an example. Maybe you'll just do full service planning and design under your top brand, and you'll do event management and consulting under a tiered brand where you can break things down. And again, it's the minimum viable offer. It's the minimum offer for the maximum amount of profit that exists there. So no, you can't, you'll get the same quality of service, but you won't get the same quantity of things that are there too. So now you have two different revenue streams. And that's how, for me, the White Lounge was born.
Oh,
the White
cool.
Lounge is the concierge service where we literally match make destination couples with potential vendors. Whereas, I'm not having to water down my planning brand to do that. I have another brand that does that and it's turnkey. So no, you're not coming. It's not like Burger King where you're like, oh, no pickles, a dash of mayo. Nope, this is it. The workflow is super easy. We get in, we get out, we provide you with a list, we call around for availability, and it's done. It's the minimum amount of work that we have to do to make a maximum amount of profit. And it speaks to a certain client. So I'm not competing with my two brands. I am speaking to two different markets and bringing in two different types of income.
Well, and it reminds me, it's so smart. It reminds me of a friend of mine who has a very large entertainment company, and the brand is really well known at the luxury level. But guess what? Like most of their revenue actually comes from the other brand. The one
Thank you.
Right.
Thank
so like
you.
Most of the money is not coming from the top one. It's coming from the other one underneath, but no one actually talks much about the other one because they all talk about the other, So this person is using the luxury name label to bring in leads. And then when they don't fit the price point, they're moving them on down, which makes
there it is. You have to have a funnel, or what I like to call a value ladder, to move your potential clients up or down the ladder. You should never, unless there is a personality conflict, there is just something where you can't make it work. You should be able to refer your clients up and down that ladder within your own brand before you refer them out, before you turn them away. You're leaving so much money on the table by not having this alternative option.
Yep.
Walmart is the biggest retailer in our country. They bring in more money than some of the luxury stores. There is a reason for that. There is a reason why there are more there's more McDonald's than there are Ruth Chris steakhouses. Because they talk to so many different people. Like if I hit you with a sock full of $10 bills versus a sock of a roll of quarters, what's going to hurt more? You know what I mean? They're both going to hurt, but something's going to hurt a little bit more. So if you think about it, if you bring in more with the volume, you can actually compete or exceed the profit levels of your tiered brands. And so that way, when your tiered brand comes in, you may only have to do 3 to 5 a year, if that, because you're pricing at a premium level, you're pricing at a luxury level, but you also have the opportunity to give more of an experience, more of your energy into that to justify that amount. So I want to be explicitly clear. I don't want anybody to think, oh, I'm cutting my prices and selling it. No, you're cutting your prices and you're cutting service availability. You're cutting amenities as well when you are creating this tiered brand. You are bringing in the volume, you're bringing them in at a lower price point just so you can serve that market. You're not giving everything away for a lower price point.
Yeah, you're not leaving money on the table, just like you said.
Yep.
Like we're done leaving money on the table.
Exactly. No, we're not doing that. No. 2024, that is absolutely out. So y'all got a good 4 months to get your life together.
New rule, no more money on the table.
No more.
So shifting back a little bit, because you did touch on it, but let's go really deep on it. What is the Netflix model? How does it apply to the weddings and events industry? Tell us about the evolution for you too, because I think it's really helpful.
Yeah. So, you and I just chatted about this before we got started. I decided that I wanted to, I guess you could say, equalize my educational experience as a coach and an educator. So as opposed to just offering one of my educational products on a one-off, I now combined everything to a subscription model. You come in, you get what you need, leave the rest, right? You join me every week for coaching. That's something that you can do too. I've developed so many Netflix models for some of my coaching clients where we'll put together, whether it's a digital planner that they're going to create, whether it's digital menus, it's something that someone can just subscribe to and they have access to everything. And then if you want to enhance it with maybe some one-on-ones with the entire group or one-on-ones with you, you would be amazed at how many couples are looking for community. And it would be so much better for them to build a community with a pro that they know, like, and trust than with someone else where they're getting arbitrary information from. They already know that they have someone that they can come to. I did this years ago when we had the recession, but the other recession that we had many years ago.
One, 2008.
She said, Mom, did you go to a formal business school? And I was like, no, everything I learned about business, I learned from watching mob movies and listening to the Notorious B.I.G. And she's like, that makes so much sense. But my thing was, Anya, I wanted a taste of every wedding that came into my area. And I'm in a destination wedding market. So I created an ebook, a planner. I designed a planner. And then I sold it online. I also sold it on Amazon and I sold it on iTunes. And this was my in. So I was targeting a market that was never going to hire a planner anyway, right? They weren't looking for me, but in the off chance that they were going to either get someone for event management or they were going to really go for a planner, I'm already in. I've made money off of the sale, but now they trust me because it's like having me in their pocket. I upsold so many more people to all-inclusive collections where we would provide everything from the florals to the food to the cakes. And again, it wasn't the grand elaborate weddings that we were known for, but it was the quality in our style and our design. So just think about who it is, think about the community that you want to create and start there. What are they looking for? What are they asking for? What is it that they need? And begin to build your own arsenal of things where you can create this recurring amount of income that comes in every month, because maybe you're teaching about tastings this month. Maybe you're telling them what to ask for or what to look for during their venue visits. Maybe you're helping them every month with a budget and people are able to subscribe. They're able to watch you. They're able to talk to you. They're getting the help that they need. It's very low energy, consumption on your end that you have to invest in it. But next thing you know, you're looking at it in monthly, you're like, wow, I've got an extra $800 a month from, just selling what I know, just telling what, as opposed to dealing with what we call snow blindness, because you have no bookings on the calendar, because you're always waiting for that Moby Dick wedding. You're always waiting for that white whale. Oh, I have to book this one. And then you know what? We get into that scarcity mindset too. When we do that, we're like, oh, I have to book this wedding. I have to do this. So yeah, I'm willing to give a discount. I'm willing to do whatever. I'm willing to add all of this extra stuff in. And at the end of the day, you haven't really made more money. You've made less because you're doing all of this work versus just talking to an entirely different market. And now you can bring in the weddings that you want to have, but maybe once a month, you're talking to a whole group of people who show up to either consume what it is that you're saying that month, if it's live or if it's digital or whatever it is. The Netflix model absolutely works. And you can see streamers are it. Streamers were up for Oscar nominations this year. So don't sleep on subscription models. Don't sleep on making yourself available, making whatever it is that you do available with really low energy impact or consumption on your part.
Yeah. That's so smart. It's like you said, it's like, avoid the scarcity mindset, avoid the sitting there and being frozen and hoping that this big wedding comes away, be proactive and take on a new market. And I actually want to say, I'm thinking of someone in my head who would tell me like, oh, but if I do that, then I'm kind of touched on it, but I really want to say it out loud because some people think this like, oh, but if I do that, it's going to mess with my brand. It's going to make me not as fancy pants. Like, I don't think so. I think it's a totally different market, but please speak to that because I do think
no one is saying that about Nordstrom. Nobody is walking past Nordstrom acting like, oh my God, guys, seriously? Are we really selling Tarte makeup at 40% off? Get it together. Nobody's doing that at all. To me, it's smart because I toss all of my interns in at our tiered brands. I don't want you coming in and messing up things on the larger level. No, you have to learn. You have to climb your way up the ladder. So again, delegation is key. Delegation is a major point of creating profit too. Once you get out of your head that you don't have to be the be all and the end all of everything, you really open up so many more markets. Having a tiered brand is amazing because again, you serve two different markets, but people are still associating the quality with you. They're still associating the experience with you either way. So let those, you know what, let them folks talk. They talked about Jesus. They talked about everybody. Let them folks talk. They're not paying your bills. Let them talk. Who cares? Pay attention to what the market is telling you. And this is what I find a lot of people in our industry deal with. They're like, oh, well, I keep getting inquiries for XYZ and I hate doing that. And I'm like, you're leaving money on the table because your market is telling you what they want. They're literally telling you, and you're like, no, you don't cost this, or you don't do this. So no, I'm not going to do that. And I'm like, you're an idiot. You are a literal idiot. You need
like, I like money.
The market is literally telling you.
Yeah.
They're telling you.
Yeah. No, totally. I couldn't agree more. I think it's a real problem. And I think our industry kind of, we all want to be, everybody wants the fancy wedding. They want to put that on their Insta. They want to feel that way. There's a validation, but what the whole idea behind money talks is to make sure everyone's remembering what we're in this for. It's
exactly. I'm not doing this for, craps and giggles. I'm doing this because I have bills. So when people say, oh, they have those arbitrary questions that they're supposed to ask their vendors, like, oh, well, how long have you been doing this? What's your staff? Well, why should we pick you over someone else? And I'm like, because I have bills. That's why you should pick me over someone. What type of question is that? I don't understand it at all, but I digress. We're in it to make money. And I'm a big history fan. I'm a big data nerd. If you are wanting to know where you're leaving money on the table, go back through your CRM and see how many times you lost the lead. See how many times what people are asking you for and that you didn't charge for, or that you say, oh no, I don't offer that. Your market's literally talking to you and they're telling you what it is that they want. And you know what? Just like how we can't all be doctors and actresses, we can't all be luxury either. And I really hate that there is a connotation in our industry that you have to be luxury in order to be successful. You have to be luxury in order to make it. That is not true. I worked with a floral designer in New Orleans, and she did so many great floral designs, but her business did not kick into gear until she started doing small drop-offs, when she started doing weddings in a box, and she was able to exceed what her other business did. So I hate the fact that people feel like that. If you have your money together, if you have your strategy together for both of your brands or whatever it is that you're offering, you're going to have so much money coming in anyway. You won't care what people think.
A million percent. Yeah. Well, it is nice. And I think a lot of people start there with their boutique, with their name on the door and things like that. Like that, I think that is the case. Like when you're in the industry for a long time, you go to events and you really have heart to heart and you have conversations with people, you do start to hear, if you can get under the hood, most people are either not hitting their revenue goals because they're too stuck in their ways around trying to be high end.
I hope y'all listening to Anya right now. Please, she is dropping some major gems on y'all right now. Yes.
Or they are super silent and like laughing their way to the bank and they don't care. Like they just don't care. So pick what you want to be, because that's what it is.
You can say whatever you want about me, especially, you know what, say it in the memo line of a check. That's where you can say say whatever you want. Say it in a memo line of a check. Yes.
Yeah. Well, let's talk about relationships and one more affiliate. Well, I said the word affiliate. One more income stream.
That's another one too. Think about all the collaborations that you come up with, whether it's, and this is what I love to do too. So let's say you and we're in the same market. We offer the same things. What's going to set us apart? It's going to be our client experience, right? And so now the client has to look at both of our proposals, both of our service guides, our invoices, and say, all right, they look the same, but why would I go with one over the other? Having really great amenities is a great way for you to get a leg up on the competition. So everything from, wedding websites to honeymoon registries to, there's several programs that do stationery and artwork. There's so many great things that you can do. And then you've got like the Amazon storefront where you can suggest things, you create content. There are so many platforms out there that are looking for content creators to share the work of both artisanal service providers to larger big box providers too. Find what works and aligns with your brand and aligns with your market. Maybe you're just doing this for your tiered brand. Maybe you're doing this for your premium brand.
Right.
It does not matter, but that's another way for you to bring in additional income. And it's another way for you to set yourselves apart. I have been in a situation where I would cost more than my competition, but when they look at it, they're like, oh, well, yeah, she costs more, but I also get this, and this. And it's what I like to call an amenity. It's either service and systems that I'm already using to work with them or their event, or it's affiliate relationships that I have with either other service providers or other products that I have too.
I like this back and forth of like, I think of like questions or conversations I've had about this stuff, and then I'm just going to play it back to you. But like, is it worth my time? Like, I feel like I'm spread so thin. Like, why should I do it? I feel like I could hear that. So, is it worth their time? Like, isn't it kind of hard to make money on affiliates?
Make money. Anything that gives you the ability to make money with less effort is worth your time. Anything that is going to bring in money is going to require time. There is no Chia Pet business model within our wedding industry. There is no genie where you rub on it and it just appeared. It's not anything worth having is worth working hard for. It's worth building a strategy for. And if you have the opportunity to make money in your sleep, why wouldn't you? If you have your workflows in place, if you have your affiliate relationships in place, why wouldn't you? I think, again, we all get caught up in this industry. It's got to be luxury. It's got to be easy. It's got to be done for me, that we can't think out of the box and we just get stuck. We get this analysis paralysis when it's time to make a decision on how we want to move our businesses forward. And then when we look at it, it's literally been us that's been holding us back.
Bingo. Yeah. That's it. So this has been an episode of Self-Help by Rock, Paper, Coin. I'm just kidding. Okay, let's talk about when you do get the booking. Okay, so you mentioned CRM, going back into your CRM, looking at where you've lost work, which this plays into that question. So streamlining your bookings, making sure you understand where your leads are coming from and where you're going to put them, and that requires some tools and some foresight and some strategy. Right?
And great questions. You know what I mean? Like asking them, who's your dream team of vendors? What have you booked already? Because that can help you too. Like, I know that a specific venue in my area, they take maybe 12 to 15 months to book out prior to the next season. So I know that's going to affect my content. I know that needs to change, my content when I'm putting out, I'm going to start putting out content of their particular venue as well. I know what their booking time frame is looking like. So it helps me really curate the experience for them as well. When you're asking the right questions and you're looking at, well, where did I have fall off? Where did I lose them? Did I give them too much information? Did I not give them enough information? What were they asking me for that I either don't do or that it's not included? Every year you need to do an audit or autopsy, however, whatever word you want to pick that year, depending on how your year went. You want to be doing this every season to review, because we're cyclical. We don't always get repeat clients all of the time for certain things. So the seasons are going to change. What is it that makes sense? What's consistent? What is just, maybe it might be a fluke, maybe it was just, oh, this is how it is because it's the market temperature right now, either with the economy or whatever else. But your data is going to tell you so much about what it is, about why you're booking or why you're not booking.
Yeah. Part of the sales process is asking the right questions. Like, I do, I've heard, just open-ended versus closed questions, things like that.
Yeah.
And I think,
I'm sorry, Anya, my battery is about to die.
Oh, you're good. I'll talk for a bit while you plug in, because I'll set it up. I'll tee it up.
Okay, there we go.
No, but I think when you're talking about this tiered programming and the Netflix subscription and adding the new revenue and things, that actually implies you to be really good at talking to your leads and tracking them. And I wonder if you could offer, not that it was like in our notes or anything, but I wonder if you could offer some ideas, for people who, they want to do this, like they're motivated after hearing this, like, okay, I'm going to go back and I'm going to create either a tiered thing, a Netflix thing. What are questions that they might be missing in that inquiry process that they need to be putting into their process so that they hear the right thing so that they can then, apply these practices.
So one thing I would say is in your inquiry process, make sure you are getting the most vital information from the very beginning. A lot of pros I have seen, they get fallout, they get ghosted because they're asking too many questions at the end. You're literally asking questions that would probably violate somebody's HIPAA laws. I'm like, nobody needs to know about who they shared their crayons with in kindergarten. You're asking too many questions. Get in and get out. So I ask one, names of everyone involved, because I always like to communicate with both people within the couple. You want to ask what their dates are, ask what the budget is, but don't ask, budget's kind of a dirty word, you know what I mean? Because it makes people feel uncomfortable. So I always say, what's your financial comfort zone?
There we go.
So when you say financial comfort zone, that implies that there's a range there, right? Like we could start here, we might end up there, and that's totally fine. Don't let them play games with you though. When they're like, oh, we don't have a budget. Whenever they play that game with me, I'm like, cool. So we'll start off at 500,000. And they're like, whoa, relax. We definitely have, I'm like, oh, we have a budget now. Great. So definitely ask what their financial comfort zone is. Also ask them who their dream team of vendors are. This will give you, one, the opportunity to see whom they've booked or who they're looking into. Does that mesh with your brand? Would it mesh with a tiered brand? Is it someone that you just don't want to work with at all? And then you have to think about, well, why am I attracting you to me? Quick, funny story. I got an email 2 years ago from a bride, and she said, I would really love to work with you guys, but we need a lot of help design wise. And so what we need, we're having a dry wedding and we need someone to help the groomsmen roast a pig at the reception. And I'm like, baby, what did you Google to get here? Like, I need to know, what did you type into Google to come to me? Because the name of my literal business is Cocktails and Details.
My literal business.
Not right. Like, what you put in? Because I feel like you're looking for mocktails and pigtails, and that's not me. Now that might be somebody else that's watching, and that's completely fine. It's not my ministry. Okay. That's not where I show up as my best. So when I ask people these questions, I'm like, okay, does it make sense for us to work together? Would this make sense under a tiered brand? At the inquiry level, the most important question that you can ask is, how soon do you want to work with your team? Because that allows you to understand how robust or how aggressive you want to go with following up with them. Because this, of course, it's very emotional. It's very instant gratification. We got to thank social media for that too. They want instant answers. So if someone says immediately or within the month, you have to stay on them. You have to have a really good workflow. So now that we've got all of that basic information, now you can either talk to them by phone, or maybe you're going to send them over a questionnaire and you can get more detailed. This is where the good information comes from, so that you can decide, well, where do I want to steer them? One, asking them, what's your impression of what it is that I do? What's your expectation? If you're like, oh, you'll hold my dress while I go to the bathroom and you'll save me from my mother-in-law. No, sweetness, you sound like you need therapy. And that's not who I am in life. That's not what I am. So if you see that when you're asking them what their expectations are, the market is telling you what they want, what they're asking for. You might not offer it under the premium brand, but maybe it's something you'll offer under the tiered brand.
Right.
Another thing that you can find out, or that you can ask about, is what's stressing you out? Like what's got you the most anxious about your planning? Oh, my budget. Or so maybe you'll do monthly budget talks and monthly expense talks with people, It's something where they're like, oh, I don't know if and I'm just saying this from a planner's perspective. There's, several different ways this could work out in any faction of our industry, whether you're a photographer, a caterer, florist, or whatever. But just think about, what's the minimum that I can do? How can I show up and really help them? Ask them those questions. What's stressing you out? What's got you the most anxious? And what's got you the most excited about your day too? And so that will tell you if that really meshes with the financial comfort zone that they gave you. So you might not be able to get this because you want to spend a certain amount. I always say you can have the wedding of your dreams or the wedding of your means. Those are two totally different things. So when you think about your vision, if it doesn't mesh with the financial comfort zone that you have, how can we readjust that? Not readjust your pricing, but readjust the vision to fit within the financial comfort zone that they've set. So those are some really great questions for you to start off with and to lead with, so that you can kind of get an understanding. Is this something that I want to offer under my brand? Is this going to be a tiered brand? Is this going to be a certain singular product? This could be something that you just offer seasonally.
Yeah.
Maybe you'll make it exclusive and you'll only offer it to 5 clients a year. Maybe you'll only offer it at a certain time of year. It's not something that you have to be stuck with.
Right. And just to be clear, when you're on the phone with these guys or you're chatting with them, however, like getting to that level of understanding where I'm going to put them, it doesn't take like 2 hours, right?
It does not.
Quickly? Like
it does not.
Right?
It does not. And, do a really great brain dump of what it is that you want to do, how you want to show up for your market, how you want to show up for different people within the market. Maybe your market is going to be speaking specifically to couples' parents. That's a totally different market. Maybe you want to work with the wedding party. There are so many different ways that you can do this and that you can show up. And already having an established brand is phenomenal because people will already trust you. They already know the work that you do.
Yeah. Yeah. Just being a part of it in your circle is important to them.
Absolutely.
Okay. Well, I want to make sure we have time for questions, but I do have a couple more. Just, as it pertains to goals and things. So, I'm listening to this, I'm feeling really inspired and motivated to like figure out whether I could do a Netflix something. I think it's really cool. I hope that people are listening in and thinking about how this really does apply, especially as we round the corner into the new year. How do you set, well, first of all, do you think about profit versus revenue? And then either way, how do you set goals for yourself and how has that evolved? Like, what are the things you've learned around that?
It's never about revenue. It's always profit first, always profit first. When anything comes in, I take the profit off the top, move that into a specific account. And then I learned that from the Profit First book. So if you have not read that, please check that out. It is always profit first for me. And when I want to bring in more revenue, when I want to increase with the volume. So that's what I'm looking at. Well, where are my streams at? What is it that I want to do? What's going to be popular? Because one stream may be very popular on your downside, on a down season of your premium brand. So that's another great way to have some alternatives too. And then you said, how do I set my goals? That's it. Well, my major goals is paying my bills. Do I have enough to pay my bills? Rachel Rogers once said, get a spreadsheet out and write down your dream life. If you could have anything in the world, write it down and then put a number attached to it for what it would cost to have that dream life per month. And that's what I did. And so I'm looking at that and I'm like, all right, so this is what I have to sell. Then I go back and I look at all of my streams of income. I look at what my seasonality looks like for each of my brands. I'm like, okay, well, you're going to be the star this time, and then we're going to offer this. And I keep getting closer and closer and closer.
I love that. And then is there anything in particular that you use besides a spreadsheet to figure it out? Like any tools or things? Like Profit First is a great example. I mean,
Profit First is amazing.
Like my Bible.
I'm literally I created my own little spreadsheet that has everything in it. And it has to work for my mind. So that's why it was super great for me to put everything in and always look at it. And I check it like every other day. Like, oh my God, what's going on today?
That's genius. That's really smart. Let's do some questions. And I want to start with the one in the chat, Killian. When addressing the upsell, what if you're in a situation where something has fallen off the plate because the client wanted to handle it and a deadline is right around the corner or has passed? What's the best way to handle that and best help the client?
Y'all know my signature phrase. That sounds like an invoice. It really does. It sounds like an invoice. We get so wrapped up that weddings are so emotional. They are personal for our clients, but they're still business for us. I absolutely want you to have the most amazing day as possible, but not to my detriment, not to where I am paying a cover charge to be at your wedding because I did not charge enough. The one thing that I can say is to develop an oops list and to make your clients aware that there is an oops list that you can either send out a month before or on the day of, and you can run their authorization form with their credit card. And if you need me to take care of X, 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 and X, this is the charge. And I won't do it until this is being, until it's being paid for. Everybody else does it. We get so wrapped up. I have to be the couple's best friend, or I have to do this and I have to show up. Everyone else is charging for services. My mortgage company is, I'm like, girl, skip this month. It's fine.
Nope.
Got the kids, it's back to school. They're not doing that for me, so I think and that's a really great boundary to put in place, because when people pay, they pay attention. People pay for access. People respect access. And if you want to maintain that relationship, that's exactly how you can do it. And let them know ahead of time, like, sure, if there's anything on your plate that you have that you want to take care of, you're more than happy to. If you find that you need support a little bit later, here is our list of how we can best support you, because we want to make sure that we have enough people on hand to get it done correctly for you, to get it done in a quality way as well.
That is so smart. And I like that part of your tip too is just anticipating their needs. Like we all know they're gonna lose their minds at 2 months out, like you said. So
absolutely, exactly.
Yeah. Yay, that was a good one. Okay. Let me look through. We had some questions in advance. What's the best method for creating additional revenue income streams using Instagram? Or maybe, we could even broaden it, like social media.
Well, we can talk about Instagram. Instagram now allows for, the subscription model too, right there within the platform. Maybe you'll offer subscriptions there. You'll do money talks, just like this, but with weddings. You'll do design talks, and then subscribers can get that. That's a great way. And also incorporating your affiliate relationships as well with the great, click the link in the bio, and you see it all of the time. So just look at really great people outside of the industry who have mastered it and see how it can work for you as well within the industry. Yeah.
No, that's super smart. I want to find other passive income streams, since everything I keep thinking of is more active information with purchasable resources like courses and workbooks. How do you overcome feeling unqualified or niche enough to sell them? I guess
it's so funny. I just
not famous enough.
I talked to, we all get imposter syndrome, right? And I was laughing because I was giving a talk at a corporate summit 2 weeks ago, and everyone's like, "Oh my God, we can't wait to see you. We heard you're so good." And I'm like, "Oh, no pressure, right?"
Yeah.
Okay. And then right as I'm about to go on stage, I see someone promoting another talk that I'm doing, and they're like, "The Beyonce of our industry is coming." And I'm like, "She is? Like, who? Me?" So then I'm like, I'm not that good. I'm not, this is what I suggest that you do. I want you to write down everything that you've done since you've started your business. I want you to think about how many room blocks, how much money hotels have made off of your room blocks, how much gas people have gotten at gas stations, how much, restaurants have made. Break it all down. When you see how much money you have brought into your local industry, you know that you are more than enough and you are more than qualified. I always look at that, and I do that every year. And when I feel like, oh my God, I'm not good enough, I don't know what I'm doing, I look at that number and I'm like, I damn sure am that good. I am that good. So that's your reminder to yourself. Whatever it is that it doesn't matter if there's 1,000 people out there that teach it a certain way or who talk about it. Nobody does it like you. Nobody delivers it like you. You may speak to a certain part of the market. Like I said, maybe you're speaking to moms, maybe you're speaking to dads, that's as a parent, I know what it's like to shift into this new phase of life of, I'm helping my child go through their own thing now. So they're going to need different types of support. So think about where you really excel. Are you great with logistics? Are you really great with client experience? Are you super compassionate and empathetic? Are you really creative? Do you have these great designs? Start with your gift first, because when you start with your gift, anything else is going to seem extremely easy. Why things seem so hard and we feel like we're so unqualified is because we're so busy trying to be someone else. And no one ever asked you to show up as me, as Anya, or anybody else. We've always asked for you to show up as you. And when you show up as you, that's where you're going to make your most money, because you're loving what you do and you do it well. So that would be my advice on that.
Yum. I love it. How do you know what content to create to start selling guides and workbooks? Kind of repetitive, but it's a good,
No, you know what? Get in your stories, get in your Instagram stories. And I always say post 3 to 5 stories per day, because, they always roll one into the other. One is not enough, and definitely get some with you talking, because that makes people stop, but get in your stories and do a poll. Ask people what it is that they want. Talk to your market. Stop assuming that you know what it is that they're looking for. You're like, oh, but I really want, it's like, we're going out to eat and I'm really in the mood for a steak. And the server's like, Awesome. But let me tell you about this spaghetti squash that's really great. You sprinkle a little garlic on it and you're like, that's cool, but I don't want that. I really want a steak. Like, I don't think you're hearing me though. This spaghetti squash is like epic. Ask the people, listen to your market, get in there and ask the questions. And I love using the Instagram polls because so many people can participate. It's not high effort on their end at all. And you get an idea as to what people want and when they want it. So that's a really great way to understand. Maybe people are having a hard time with their budgets. Maybe people are really having a hard time coming up with creative ideas or not knowing who to hire, or all of those things. So ask the right, again, all about asking the right questions, maybe even doing some research and getting in some groups and just seeing, not getting in there to sell, but getting in there to find out what people's pain points are. And then figuring out, how can I use my gift? How can I use my magic to make this something phenomenal for them?
Yes. Amazing. This is one last question from the community. How do you balance, well, and I guess I'll reword it. Do you ever offer complimentary services? Or this person says, how do you balance complimentary services? Would you rather give away a service or reduce a charge?
Okay.
Yeah.
So the only thing that I do complimentary is the first consult.
Okay.
Because that's
in person, or I mean, Zoom, or how does it work?
Yeah. Well, being in a destination wedding market, a lot of the times my things are over Zoom, unless they have, I travel a lot, unless we happen to cross paths at the same time and we're here at the same time over Zoom or email. I've really had to master selling over the phone through email or through Zoom, of course. So that's always complimentary. And it gives me a chance to shine too, because honestly, it's all about listening. For me, I'm not trying to sell them on anything. I'm trying to listen to, one, what's your level of crazy? Because that's definitely going to affect the price for sure. And two, what is it that you really want? Because I want to make sure that I'm positioning my services in a way that are filling that need that you have. But as far as reducing price, no. I get, no. I'm trying to think like, no.
No, and I think that just kind of goes back to, literally, we could recap the entire webinar right now, just to go back to it. It's like, what are you recap it? I mean, I could go through it, but it's like tiered brands and the Netflix and just not leaving money on the table. Like, let's
absolutely. When I think about it, Anya, I have it from my wedding planning to my coaching to my speaking. I have so many opportunities for people to work with me at whatever price point that they have, whether it's one-on-one coaching, you can work with me for the whole day, or whether you just want to buy a pre-recorded course. I'm never making you feel like one thing is it. Same thing with my planning. I always offer 2 different options for you to work with me within the proposal. So whether or not you like it, that's not my business, right? That's really not my problem. But I would never walk into Louis Vuitton and be like, I want that Speedy 50, but I really want it for $50. They don't care about my wants and my needs. The price is the price. Right. And that's how I feel. I'm telling you what this is. You have to figure out how to make that work for you. You have to figure out how it's going to work for you and your financial comfort zone. You may not be able to have it at this price point. Maybe you need to start down here. Maybe you need to increase the budget. These are all of those things, but it's negotiable to how we point. How we work together is negotiable. What you spend is negotiable, but my time is not negotiable. My art is not negotiable at all. My energy that I put into it is not negotiable at all. And I think that I always say, hustle like you're broke. And some people will always say, oh, well, some money is better than no money. No, not really. Because if I am making 35% less on a wedding just because I wanted to get something in the door, I'm going to have to work 55%, 65% harder somewhere else to make up for the money I didn't get here. So the only time, again, that's the scarcity mindset of, oh, I have to book this one. I got to get this because I need this. When you open yourself up and you provide your clients with more options, they get to pick and choose how they can work with you and within that certain price point. But when the mortgage is due, the car notes due, this is due, that you just can't take a piece of something because you're not making enough money to really sustain your life. So that's going to say, all right, well, I have to bring in some more options. I have to bring in either more people that are going to help me, and I can do this at a lower price point, or I'll do a tiered brand. Because again, you can't always chase that white whale of, oh, I need this $250,000 wedding to come in. Might not be your season. It might be next season. What are you going to do for this entire year while you're waiting for Moby Dick to come in from your ship, Captain Ahab? You know, are you just going to sit here and just turn everybody else down, or keep taking pieces of a wedding when you need all of your money? And that's how we get burnt out. We get resentful, and we start falling off because we're doing so much and we're making less. And it's not teaching our clients to respect us. It's not teaching us to respect ourselves. It's not even teaching us to handle our finances well. So this is a great answer to all of that.
Yeah, that was it in a nutshell. Thank you.
You're welcome. You're welcome. Thank you for having me.
Yeah. So I want to tell everybody before you jump off, we're actually get to have Terrica again at the end of the month. She's going to be doing a pricing course with us. And this is pricing for profit, right? Payment schedule strategy, tools for creating pricing methods, finding your true hourly rate. It's been really successful, right, within your own community, and you're going to be sharing it with the rock, paper, coin community complimentary, which is really
super excited.
A treat.
Super excited about that.
Yeah. Yeah. So everybody stay tuned for that, because, it's at the end of this month, and we're going to send out an email with the replay from this amazing session, plus a registration link for that session. So stay tuned, because it's just for RPC members. And then to add to that, if you want to just you're feeling really motivated right now, we have an affiliate program that if you want to get involved, reach out to us, because, that, like we said, this is another way to make money. If it fits your brand, it feels personal to you, which it should. If you're joining us, you're part of the family here. Get in on that and use it, and find cool ways to make more money with affiliates too.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
All right.
Take you for having me, Anya. This has been so great.
I love it. It's been so fun. I hope everybody enjoyed, and I hope anyone watching the replay, reach out and ask your questions separately. We're here for it, and we will see you at the end of the month with Terrica again. So thank you. And
bye, guys.
See everybody later. Bye.